Benny has to get painted.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show.
Fuck.
We're just over here talking
No warnings.
people
No
being naked.
warnings.
I'm looking at shirts. I'm sorry.
We're just in our own little zone over here.
Oh.
Oh,
Don't break anything.
That was good. I timed that phone drop great.
That
I
was
was
great.
like, oh,
That's good.
fuck.
Good. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Dissect That Film Live for July 2023, where we sit around and look back at the month that is coming to an end. We talk about the wonderful episodes that we put out, all the beautiful content. We hang out with all of our amazing, fans here, all the amazing people who make this show what it is. And then we look towards the future and all the wonderful things we got going on for August. Because, we got a lot of stuff coming. We got Dan and Angela of DNA Gaming here, as always, joining us. They're contractually obligated to be here, so...
That's 100%.
And I am your host, Brett Parker. Yeah, thank you, everybody, for being here. We appreciate you. Fiore is in the chat. My fave peeps, Rough Riders. Good to see you.
Oh.
Good to see
What
you.
up?
Brian Sanchez, what's going on, everybody? All movie lovers, what's going on, Brian?
I think he's talking to somebody else. Just kidding. How's it going, Brian? How's it going, Fiore?
So,
Oh.
yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go
I
ahead.
say, speaking of people named Fiore, not this specific Fiore, but Clayton Fiore, whatever
Yes.
his name is. I watched his latest video.
Yeah.
You should go check that out.
I've been actively watching. He puts out so many videos. It's
I know,
sometimes I'm like
dude.
because I watch other stuff too. It's like trying to keep up. It's like I feel like it's hard. So me versus you, Dan. Who's winning the fight?
You.
Why? Why?
I just concede.
Oh,
Like, you want to fight now? Well, yeah, sure.
it would just be like it would look like we're about to fight, and then it'd just be an embrace,
Yeah, absolutely.
and I'd lay you
I
down
can do it.
gently.
Yep.
whoa.
And I'd have to start playing like some seductive music, oddly. Like, what's going on? Is this more than I saw?
Yes, some careless whisper.
Yes, more careless whisper.
Why is the sound in my ear keep going from loud to... I've not touched...
Listen, I got my Spotify open right now, and I'm literally getting,
Song no more.
remember that crackling thing I used to complain about?
Yeah.
Well, it's doing it for Spotify, and it's annoying, but I'm not even going to try to figure out why it's doing it.
Ah, it's my pit muscle. Don't do that.
But yeah,
You can't bite back.
everybody, it has been, we actually did this in the beginning of the month, so it hasn't even been a full month since we did our last live show, but it was like, oh, hey, you guys were giving us crap that we were doing our live show in July when it was our June episode. So we're like, well, there's a good time to do our July episode in July. Yes, there
Fuck
are
yeah.
a couple days left of the month, but it's the perfect time to do it. So we decided to do it today. And it's a Friday. For most people, that's the weekend. For me, I have to work tomorrow.
Damn,
Sorry,
I'm
dude.
off tomorrow.
But yeah, we're here like usual. There's no script. There's no notes or anything. We just go by the seat of our pants, and we go through all of the wonderful episodes that we released in July. We talk about them a little bit. We talk to you guys in the chat. Let's talk about. Did you enjoy the episodes? We had some good ones. We released. Let's see. Let's go to. I gotta get everything all situated here because I need dates here because I don't remember when I released stuff. Our first episode of the month was, I believe, Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Men Tell No Tales,
It's a good
which is for a movie that I feel a lot of people didn't watch. The numbers are slowly climbing. Like this episode did not start off very strong, and I feel like the majority reason for it was the fact that people are like, wait, what? This is a thing. So who watched Tony's live episode last night? I didn't because I had to work. So
I don't know about it.
Unfortunately, I couldn't join in on another live show, which I'm bummed about because it was a lot of fun being on the Hack the Movies live show a couple months ago. So yeah, that was the funniest thing is like that was a really fun episode to do for the sheer fact that you guys had never seen that one, and it was fun to just see people's reactions once we released it, because the fact was just like I didn't even know this was a thing, or it was a lot of people like, I'm just so sick of the franchise, I didn't watch it. I knew it was there, but I just didn't care. It's like that's understandable. But yeah, it didn't start off very strong, and but you know what? Every time I check it, we get a download here and there, and it's getting there. It's definitely not one of our bangers, as I want to say, but it was a good time. Our second episode of the month was Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City, which, to be honest, July has been a rough month for the show when it comes to numbers. And, you know, as much as I try not to focus too much on the numbers, we try to, you know, our sole focus is to have fun and talk about movies. July was a rough month. Like, probably the roughest month we've had in a very long time on the show. And it could be, there's many factors, you know. It's summertime. People are enjoying the outdoors. They're enjoying, you know, maybe they're not consuming as much podcasts. Number two, we're talking about movies that people just don't maybe have a lot of interest in, which I feel is probably a big reason why. So like I said, Pirates 5. Yeah. Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City. It was a lot of fun. Also, I would probably say maybe the third factor would be our episodes are some of our episodes, especially ones we have guests on. And just to pre-warn you all, our Conjuring 2 episode, which will be out in 2 weeks, is almost 2.5 hours, and we blame Angela for it.
Me too. I kept going on side tangents. It was worth it, 100%.
It's what happens.
All right.
It's what happens when I have somebody else to banter with.
All right, let's go to the chat real quick before I fall behind. Seismic Cinema's in the chat. What's up? Hey guys, welcome to Raccoon City. It was great. Piggy was awesome. Went back and listened to your other RE episodes. My brain died. So did mine recording those episodes. What's going on? Oh, Deep Rising was amazing. Looking forward to The Conjuring. Well, The Conjuring's out, baby. It's out. It just released today, so make sure to go check it out either on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/dissectthatfilm, which you're at right now. So I don't know why I'm telling you to go there when you're already there. And make sure to subscribe and like the video and leave us a little comment. We got Ty, the Blockbuster guy, who says, "What's up?" Or he said, "Hey," but I just added a little flair to it. How y'all doing? We're doing. I'm doing pretty good. How you guys doing?
Doing great. It's the weekend. I worked one day this week.
Yeah, we got some drinks. Got pineapple twisted tea.
I was gonna grab a drink, but my tummy is not being friendly to me. So I'm like, do I want to risk it? So I'm just
probably not.
Maybe I'll grab a water. But we have Gerald from 2Ps on a Pod in the chat.
Gerald?
How's it going, Gerald?
I can't say your name normal.
Hey, Gerald.
I can't.
What's up, buddy?
It just doesn't happen.
Gerald, make sure go follow Seismic Cinema. They got a YouTube channel. Make sure to click on that name and go subscribe to that. And then you're gonna subscribe to 2Ps on a Pod because Gerald and Nick are putting out some banger content over there. They are covering a lot of new release stuff, just covering Barbie, Oppenheimer, and a lot of other movies that maybe you weren't aware were out. So go over and check out 2Ps on a Pod. It's a great show. Gerald has been on the show before. If you guys watched our Everything Everywhere All at Once episode, and we're definitely going to be having Gerald back on the show. Also, we're going to get Nick on the show as well, as he is awesome. We were on Livestream for the Cure, which he runs, which is a great. It's awesome. It's a great fundraiser, event. We're bringing a bunch of awesome podcasters in to do cool things and raise a lot of money for cancer awareness. So, yeah, there you go. It happens. Go on side tangents, like talking to myself. Listen, that's the name of the game on Dissect That Film. We go on a lot of side tangents, and I know that there are people out there who don't like that type of stuff, but it's one of those things where it's just like, well, we've been doing it for so long. Well, I don't feel like changing it. If it deters,
we're friends talking.
Yeah, if it deters people from listening to the show, then then we're just not the show for them. It's just how it goes.
Yeah, fuck them.
You can
Anytime,
scroll.
Gerald. Anytime, buddy.
Yeah, thank you, dude. You're awesome.
Yes. I apologize for the music. If you guys, I mean, I know that Dan and Angela can't hear the music unless they have the stream pulled up. But for
No,
anyone
we have our
listening
own.
to the music, if it's got,
our own music.
if it's kind of crackling, I don't understand computers. I just don't. I'm surprised I can do this. And sometimes this is a project. So if it sounds kind of like it's cutting out a little bit, I apologize. If you guys don't want to hear the music because it sounds so bad, I will happily turn it off. But I do want to shout out the wonderful, the awesome man who creates this beautiful music, and that is our good friend Dark Razard. Our intro and outro music are songs by him, and pretty much anytime we do a live show, all of the music is provided by Dark Razard. It is DMCA free music, so if you are a streamer, you are a podcaster, and you want some awesome music to add to your streams or your podcasts or any type of content you're doing, just hit up Dark Razard on Twitter. He's on Instagram. He's on TikTok. Just hit him up and yeah, just let him know that you're using his music because he will definitely appreciate that. And go follow him on Spotify and Apple Music. He's been on the show 3 times now, and he's definitely going to be on many more times in the future. So yeah, go check out all the episodes we did with Dark Razor where I actually interviewed him. It was a one-on-one interview. Didn't talk about a movie. We did talk about movies, but it wasn't for a specific movie. And then he was on for American Pie, and then he was on for Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Yep. Sounds about
1993.
right.
Yes. So what else has been new with you guys? Just doing our thing, you know? We're just we're pumping out some awesome content for our $5 patrons over on patreon.com/dissectthatfilm. We officially started the Monster Zone show, which is hosted by Dan and Angela. Make sure to check out episode 1, which is free for everybody. It's on YouTube and on podcast services where we cover the food of the gods, which, to be honest, for a movie that I feel like a lot of people may not know about, it did pretty decent for a debut episode, you know, that is now just going to be strictly on Patreon. Down the road, I think the plan is I would like to kind of scramble, like take whatever episodes that we've released on Patreon, maybe spin a wheel, and then kind of just throw one out there randomly for everyone to listen to. Like when we start to bank some episodes, we could just randomly be like, hey guys, here's a random episode from the Monster Zone, so you guys can kind of, you know, maybe it'll pull some people in to
spin
like,
more wheels.
Hey, I would happily give you $5 so I can listen to more of this awesome stuff. And we have a Tubi show on Patreon called Out of the Tubi. Very creative name because everyone has Tubi names.
I love it. But I love the bathtub. I love it.
It's it's a good time. We talk about some really insane movies. We just talked about Shark and Saw, Women's Prison Massacre. Jesus, that's a tongue
I was
twister.
talking about that at work today because a guy I work with, he's like, "You watching stuff for Shark Week?" I'm like, kind of.
Yeah.
And I told him about it. I was like, "Yep, it was something."
Yo, we got Wyatt from Cinema Trip Reviews in the chat. What's going on?
I remembered his name. I'm so proud of myself.
Yeah, make
I'm
sure
terrible with
Wyatt,
names.
another podcaster and a friend of the show, who has been on a couple times to talk. Recently, he came on to talk about Evil Dead 2013, and he came on to talk about Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
He did. I
Yes.
remember that.
And he joined me for a Last of Us episode during that run. So he's been on the show a couple times. I've been over there a couple times talking about the Matrix movies. So far, we've done Matrix, the Matrix, and Matrix Reloaded, and now we're just waiting. I'm waiting for the number for him to give me the call and be like, "Come back for number 3," and I'm like, "Oh boy, here we go." Yeah.
Oh.
So make sure to click on Cinema Trip Reviews name there in the chat. Go subscribe to his channel.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, back to talking about what we released in July. Welcome to Raccoon City with our good friend Piggy, who joined me way back when, before Dissect That Film even technically existed by name. We talked about the Paul W. Sanderson movies, pretty much from the 2002 one all the way up to Final Chapter, which came out in 2016. And it was an experience, but it was a fun time, and we figured it was... it wasn't even the fact that like anything was going on with Resident Evil where I was like, you know what, let's do Resident Evil. I just said, it's time. We need to finish this off. until they decide to make another movie, and then we'll be back at it. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's done pretty well performance wise. You know, we're not a channel that pulls in hundreds upon hundreds of downloads. You know, I feel if we can hit the triple digits, that's a pretty damn good episode for us. And once we get into the 2, 3, 4, then it's like, holy shit, what has happened? So that's how I measure the show right now. We're still, I would technically say, in our infancy. We're still kind of, you know, breaking out of the egg, trying to figure out what the fuck the world is all about. And we're having a good time doing it.
Yep. I'm having fun.
What's a guilty pleasure movie you guys would want to review, even if you knew it wouldn't do that well? Oh, man.
I know.
All right, Dan, go first.
The original Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah, I knew you were going to answer that. Let's see. While they're talking, I'm going to think. This is a hard one because I feel like, see, for me, I didn't really grow up watching like super obscure movies. I grew up with a lot of like the, you know, when it came to like when I was watching horror movies, it was your popular ones. You know, you're watching the Nightmare series, Friday the 13th, those ones, but like very obscure movies just weren't there for me. I guess I just didn't like go to those. Like some people, like if you think of somebody who is like into like super obscure movies, I think of like Joe Lascola. Like he is, I feel like that's his world. Where like I watch Movie Dumpster and I'm like, I've never heard of this movie. I've never heard of that movie. But but watching that show pulls me in, and even though I will watch an entire review and be completely spoiled, I will still go back and watch that movie and still be in awe when I watch it. That's a good. I think a movie, I don't think it's really obscure, but a movie I would like to cover, even though we have covered it on another show, is Brain Dead or Dead Alive, which we did with Podcast in the Woods. I thought that movie was a blast, and I know Dan and Angela had a great time with it. Somebody who we did the podcast with wasn't a huge fan of it, but I would love to cover it on our show. I think that would be a lot of fun, but I think it would do pretty well because I think there's a lot of fans of that movie. It's so hard though. I can't really think of. I don't know. I'm trying to look around to see if I have if a movie comes into view, then I'm just like, yeah, that movie.
Or I guess it's not really a guilty pleasure. It's more nostalgia. But I would love to talk about the animated Hobbit. Like, I know I've sucked that movie's dick a lot on here. I fucking love that.
I think
movie.
that would be
well, speaking of which, we were talking about, speaking of early Peter Jackson films and Peter Jackson affiliated project, I really want to watch Bad Taste. Yes. Like, that came up on something I was watching the other day. I was like, God, I want to see Bad Taste.
Yeah, that would be good. I mean, to me, I think one that maybe doesn't get talked about a lot because of the fact that Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal, like the Anthony Hopkins Hannibal movie, were more popular. I just bought all of the Hannibal Lecter movies on VHS, and I even picked up Manhunter, which later became Red Dragon. It's based on the book Red Dragon, and then of course they remade it with Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter. Yep. But this is the one that was directed by Michael Mann. This had Brian Cox playing Hannibal Lecter, had William Peterson, and this also had Tom Noonan in it. For anyone who's, Monster Squad.
It's not a click.
Like that.
Oh,
but like this is I feel like this is the one that's not talked about as much because I don't even think Red Dragon is talked about a lot because you think of like the Hannibal movies, it's Silence of the Lambs, and then I love Hannibal. People don't like that movie. I really love Hannibal, and I love the book even more. But the movie, I just thought it was awesome. And then as I got older, I just remember, like, especially when we got into the podcast, I was just like, people were just bashing that movie. It's like, yeah, okay, it's nowhere near as good as Silence of the Lambs. That movie is like pinnacle of cinema. Like that is like a Mount Rushmore of movies and how well filmmaking can be. Hannibal's just like a, hey, what's Hannibal doing now after he escaped at the end of Silence of the Lambs? What happened? And I think that also people just didn't like the fact that Jodie Foster didn't come back for it. it was Julianne Moore, but also is the fact that there's a lot to talk about when it comes to Hannibal, and I don't want to share it all now. I do want to share it when we actually cover those movies. But when we do cover Manhunter, I do want to cover Manhunter and Red Dragon together because they are very, very similar, and it would kind of be weird to do 2 episodes in a row that are kind of the same. So.
That's fair.
Let's go back to chat. Let's see. I hope that answered your question because my brain is like hurting trying to think of something very obscure.
I can't.
While Angela thinks about hers, I'm going to continue reading the chat. So for the Monster Zone, I guess you guys are going to talk giant monsters and kaiju movies. We are. It's a show that Dan and Angela are hosting.
Not just giant monsters.
Maybe
No.
little monster.
Yeah, just
But
monsters.
It could
in
be giant people.
Yeah.
Giant people.
Yeah, who
Monstrous
people would
people.
consider monsters.
True.
Yeah.
They're different. They're
But not
monsters.
just you got those people that are like got to be very specific. No, I've got my
What is it?
All
my guilty pleasure.
All right.
The original Cats. I know.
Is there a butthole cut?
No, it's not the 2019 one. It's
I know,
the
I
one
know.
from 98 or
I
whatever.
think if we talk about that one, we have to do a double feature where we talk about that one and the 2019 one. That one, to be honest, I feel like that one would do so well just for people's interest in being like, how much are they going to rip this apart? And to be honest, it'd
I
probably
used
be
to
a lot.
watch it on when it came on PBS as a kid. I would watch it.
What movies? We have a question from Gerald from 2Ps on Pod, who said, "What movie or movies do you hate that most people love?" I'm trying to think of
Edward
like
Scissorhands.
Doom.
It's probably
the ladies at Doom
Oh.
Generation would agree with you wholeheartedly on that one.
yes. I'm sure there's quite a few Tim Burton movies would be on that list. So,
What movie do I hate that most people love?
Of course. Taylor Swift's in the 2019 Cats, so that's one of Gerald's all-time favorites. That's so bad. I haven't even seen it, but any time I see a clip from that movie and I see James Corden and fucking what the hell is her name? She's a British actress. She was in
a comedian.
She was in a really shitty Netflix movie this past year where she's like a teenage girl, goes into a coma and wakes up. She's like in her 30s, but she still gets to go back to high school. I'm like, this sounds awful.
Is she
Rebel
the one that was
Wilson.
in Bridesmaid?
Rebel
Okay, yeah.
Wilson.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Rebel Wilson. I don't think she's
Mm-mm.
terrible, but like her and James Corden together in a scene, that just makes me want to bash my head into a wall.
Oh,
There's some things that she does, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
let's not do that, please.
Fiore, for real quick for you, brother. If you stick around, you'll be able to find out what the next 2 episodes of Monster Zone are.
Yeah.
So we will be spinning the wheel. That's why we haven't hit kaiju stuff yet. It's just randomized, but we will get there.
So for me, I don't know, because when I talk about, like, I don't really hate many movies. When I talk, like, when it comes to like thinking of what movies do I hate, I always think of the Resident Evil movies. Because I truly hate those movies. They're just absolute piles of trash. To be honest, I can't even think of anything because like I'm a sucker for bad movies. So it's like trying to think of like what.
Every time anyone thinks T Swift, Gerald gets happy. Happy.
Eddie, what's going on? I'll be here till I fall asleep. Rain of Fire. We have covered Rain of Fire on the show.
Yeah.
Fucking
that was a good
wonderful
one.
movie.
Yes, that movie is awesome. I remember seeing that as a kid, loving it as a kid, and then when we rewatched it for the podcast, it was great. We had a great time. So go check out I don't remember what number it is. I'm not good with numbers when it comes to what episode is what, but we did cover Rain of Fire, so it's there.
I thought of another guilty pleasure.
Okay, go ahead.
The Giant Claw.
Yeah, you talked about that one a lot.
Yeah, that was a bit. Well, that's not even on. That will never be on the Monster Zone. I'll tell you that right now. It'll never be on there. I'm waiting for it to be on the main show.
Cinema guy Brad is furious about the RE hate. We were just talking about Brad too, because Brad, like we said, Brad is actually going to be on the show on Sunday. He's recording with us to talk about a movie called what are we talking about?
this week?
League of Extraordinary.
League
yeah.
of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Jesus Christ.
We're the ones that was just asking you.
Yep. Yeah,
You're
he's coming on
supposed
the
to
show
remember
to
this.
talk about League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. So there you go. That's a movie. Listen, that's I'm kind of reversing Gerald's question, where that's a movie that I actually enjoyed a lot as a kid. I have not seen it since I was probably in my teen years, and I still enjoyed it. So it's going to be interesting to watch it again, because people just hate that movie, and I just need to know, like, why. I know that Sean Connery hated the movie, and that's kind of one of the reasons why he retired.
It's so good.
I mean, I hate most of the Fast and the Furious movies, but yeah, I still watch them because I'm like, what fucking stupid shit are they gonna do next?
I love 3. 3 is probably one of my favorite Fast and Furious.
Oh, Tokyo Drift.
I love Tokyo Drift.
I don't want to label it as hate. I guess I'll say hate. Just to answer Gerald's question, I'm not a big fan of Tokyo Drift. I cannot stand the main actor in that movie. He drives me nuts.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really hard to think. I'm kind of thinking of more movies that I like that most people don't like. Like, I think of a movie that I like that most people don't like. I think of Freddy's Dead, Nightmare 6. Like, it's one of my favorite movies in the series, and a lot of people fucking trash that movie. Yes, it is goofy as hell. Yes, Freddy does not look as good as he does in, Nightmare movies before, but for one, I have kind of a nostalgia. It came out the year I was born. 2, I think it's hilarious. And 3, Robert Englund is just so much fun to watch on screen anytime he plays Freddy Krueger. And 6 was just great. It had so many like kooky references. It had so many kooky fucking cameos, like Tom Arnold and Roseanne Barr. Like, what the fuck? Like, why are you here?
Why not?
Yeah.
I guess.
Go ahead.
I guess as far as those movies go, one that I actually really like in like a long running franchise that a lot of people don't is I love Godzilla vs. Hedorah, which is the LSD acid infused Godzilla movie from 1971. It was
Literally.
okay. Listen, Yoshimitsu Bono wrote and directed that movie, or helped write and direct that movie. It was so poorly received. The executive producer of the Godzilla franchise, Tomoyuki Tanaki, went up to him and said, "You will never make a Godzilla movie ever again." Yeah, I love that movie. It's so good. He actually went on to be an executive producer on Godzilla 2014, though.
Wow.
So he came back.
There you go.
That's a great movie.
I love the Fast and the Furious movies since I grew up with that franchise. I love the original, and Too Fast, Too Furious is always a good time. I always enjoy that one, even though that one gets a lot of hate. And then I remember seeing 4. I saw 3, wasn't a fan because it kind of didn't feel like it was still involved in the franchise.
Yeah,
but like I said,
after 3,
I didn't really enjoy the main guy.
3.
I thought he was annoying. But 4 wasn't good. 5 was great. I actually liked Fast 5, and then it just got fucking. And it was just like Fast 7 was like the last one I really enjoyed because that was the final ride with Paul Walker. That was the one they had to make. Like half of the movie was made with after he had died.
Yep.
So, but yeah, that franchise is just insane.
I have my one that I hate that not saying a lot of people liked, but it was definitely well received for people that like men. Magic Mike. Hate it.
I've never seen it, to be honest. It's just not something I'm interested in. Just don't care.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about the Avatar franchise. I refuse to watch them. I just don't give a shit.
They're very like, when it comes to the Avatar movies, it's kind of like what I said about The Lion King, the remake, where it's visually beautiful, but everything else is just like, I don't care. I just don't care.
I hear you. I do. Yeah. I want to address Christopher's latest question when we get there.
He said League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, such a great book. Yes.
It's
yes, I have read the book.
I do own the original graphic novels. I bought from somebody. They're in my comic book collection I'm about to sell. I
had that, and I had
Do you have From Hell?
I have From Hell, but I have
like the Jack the Ripper From Hell comic?
The picture of Dorian Gray.
Yeah.
I have that too.
Who wrote
somewhere?
Dorian Gray, who I think shows up in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Wink.
It's somewhere around here.
Nightmare 4 and 5, I enjoy those two since I'm a I love the entire Nightmare franchise. Yes, there are some that are way worse than others. For me, it's always going to be. I love New Nightmare. I think it's such an interesting take on that franchise. And then, of course, the original. That's the very first horror movie I ever saw. I remember being, a young kid, going to rent some movies with my dad, and he's just like, just go pick whatever you want. And I'm like, what? No, because my mom had to be there with me, because it would be like, if she just let me go, I would bring back movies that I easily would not be able to watch. She would be like,
yes,
no.
Yeah.
And I remember going and seeing the original VHS cover of A Nightmare on Elm Street, and I picked that up, and my dad's like, oh man, you picked a good one. And I went, oh, okay. And then we watched it for the first time, and I was just like in awe. Like, I remember seeing the scene where Tina gets torn apart in her bedroom, and she's like floating, she's on the ceiling and shit. And like, as a little kid, you're just like, holy shit, what is happening? And then you're like, oh my God, it's Johnny Depp.
Yeah, I love this scene. One of my favorite scenes from the original Nightmare is where her body is being dragged to the hallway.
Yes, so cool.
It's so fucking good.
The hall monitor, it's got the claw. You got your hall pass? So
oh my God. I thought I just watched a movie. You said that, and it made me think of Clint Howard, and I just watched a movie with Clint Howard yesterday.
So many.
So many.
But yeah, the franchise, it definitely got goofier as it went along, but I embraced the goofiness of Freddy Krueger as it went along. Like, Nightmare 2 was terrifying. Freddy his makeup in that movie is insane. The whole story behind like everything. Yeah, I really enjoy Nightmare 2. Nightmare 3, that's everybody's favorite, and I love it. It's definitely, I don't think it's my favorite. I do like the original more, and I do like New Nightmare. And then 4 and 5, 4 and 5 got goofy, and 6 was definitely the goofiest up until I would even say Freddy vs. Jason is a goofy ass movie. Like, that's a goofy.
Yeah.
I don't think Freddy is played as goofy as he was in like 4, 5, and 6, but the kills were what got me so like hooked in those movies. Even like I don't remember if it was 4 or 5 where the dude he's on a motorcycle, and like Freddy is part of the motorcycle, and like a bunch of like wires and stuff start to like insert themselves into the guy's skin, and then he becomes the motorcycle. It is one of the coolest kills in the franchise, hands down.
Can I make a controversial comment?
Sure.
I think I've only ever seen the first Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh man, we got to go through them.
Yeah, we do. I really want to. It's just one of those things I haven't got around to.
That'll be a great time. I'm very excited to do that. We need kaiju every other year. It is a minimum.
Well, listen, I will say this, Christopher. This is the comment I want to say. We are getting 4 amazing tokusatsu, or have gotten up. We will get 4 in total this year. We got actually 5, technically, because we got we got Shin Ultraman at the beginning of the year. We got Shin Kamen Rider halfway through the year. We're getting the new Gamera movie, or Gamera anime, which is coming out in September. We got the Kong anime last month, 2 months ago.
You heard about Skull Island?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The Skull Island anime.
Have you seen it?
I've not seen it yet. It's not. I'm not the biggest Kong person. I'm sure I will, but
I've been watching it. It's definitely not. It's called Skull Island, so it's not focused primarily on Kong. He is just there.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm not finished with it, so it could change, but
that's fair. And then we are also getting the new Japanese Godzilla film December 1st.
We will be covering on the show, because if there is a showing at my theater, which they actually did have a showing of Shin Ultraman at my theater, but like I'm not.
You don't know about it?
Yeah, it's just not my thing. But when it comes to Godzilla, especially after seeing Shin Godzilla, I'm like fucking hooked. I will consume anything Godzilla after that.
Yeah.
So if they have a showing at my theater when it comes out in December and we all see it, we are covering it on the show.
Please do. And if you end up watching the Gamera anime, it's only going to be 6 episodes. So if you watch that and want to talk about it, let me know. We'll gladly talk about it.
I will definitely watch it so we can talk about it.
It's the Turtles' first content in 18 years. So I would love to talk about Gammy.
What other movies do I enjoy? Oh, Dragonheart is another good one. I don't know if I've ever seen Dragonheart. That's definitely one that I have not seen. There's going to be a new Shin Super Sentai, I heard from Joel Escola. Ooh.
Oh, no, not them. I was hoping anything but Shin's. Okay, I have nothing against Super Sentai. I grew up watching Power Rangers, whatever. I love that stuff. I love Toku in general. But I was really hoping for our next Shin entry, we wouldn't get another Toku thing, because we just got Shin Kamen Rider. I was hoping we'd get like a super robot show, like Voltes 5 or whatever the fuck it is, or like even Voltron for people that know a more common robot show in the United States, or Gao Gaigars, just something. Just give us something different. But whatever. Anyway, carry on this.
Shin Mazinger.
I would take. Oh my god, give me a Shin Mazinger. I'd be on. We're already getting a live action. Oh fuck! I just blanked the name. Keep talking, I'll remember.
That would be awesome. Shin Mazinger. That would be awesome.
Fiore said people don't like Rambo 4. That's one that he enjoyed.
I don't think
I've ever seen anything past part 2.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, I should state this. I missed this. I did grow up watching Dragonheart, and Dragonheart's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
So just throwing it out there.
But yeah, so going back to our episodes that we covered through the month, Resident Evil Welcome Raccoon City was a lot of fun. Getting to hang out with Piggy again and talk about more Resident Evil, and having Dan and Angela on the episode, and Dan just in pain the entire time. And then we covered a movie that Dan had been talking about for a very, very long time, and we finally covered it because one of the reasons was because Dan was talking about it for so long, but also we wanted to pay tribute to Treat Williams, one of the stars of the movie, who passed away about a month ago. So it was a good time to do it, and it was also celebrating its 25th anniversary, which was pretty cool. So that episode, I gotta say, has been doing pretty well. But like I said, July, numbers wise, download wise, when it comes to the show, not so good. Like I said, there's probably a lot of factors, and we stated them earlier. You know, it's summertime. It's, you know, movies. We're covering movies that maybe people aren't as interested in. Maybe people are just not as interested in us anymore. I mean, that could be a factor. People probably just be like, I'm sick and tired of these guys, so I'm gonna go listen to something else. And that's, hey, shit happens.
That's true.
We keep trucking though, and yeah. So hopefully August we'll pick back up. We got some fun ones coming. We just released The Conjuring today, which is it's off to a good start.
Yes.
So I'm very excited. We have The Conjuring that came out today. Next week will be Annabelle, and then the week after that will be The Conjuring 2 with our good friend Dustin from the Flicks and Friends podcast. So those are the next 3 episodes, and then we are recording an episode with Brad from the Cinema Guys this weekend on League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. So now you have an image in your brain of what you're going to be seeing for the next 4 weeks, which will be the majority of August. Maybe, I don't know, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen might creep into September. But once I'm trying to figure out a schedule on what, if we are going to be jumping back into the Conjuring universe after League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, or if we want to do something else. I did get my Godzilla 98 shirt finally from and I'm very excited because that was the reason we hadn't covered that movie yet, because I Tapes from the Crypt came out with an awesome line of Godzilla 98 merch, and I said, I'm buying a shirt. It was a pre-order, and it took a while, and I was like, I'm not covering the movie until I get the shirt. So finally got the shirt. Now I just got to figure out when we're going to do it, and I have a guest for that, so that is in the works. We don't have a date on that yet. I'm going to try to aim it towards like my birthday, because I love that movie so much. And then, of course, you know, we're going to be doing what we do every year for October, where we all pick out a movie to cover for the month. And we're actually going to be going back to a format we haven't done in like a year and a half. I can't remember when we released our Friday the 13th episode, where we went through the entire franchise, but we're going to be doing the same thing, but we're going to be going through the entire Halloween franchise.
Hell yeah.
Starting with the 1978. Yeah, well, I'm telling you now, so we're going to get them started. We're going to watch them all. We're going to be talking about all of the original, so 1 through 6. We're going to be talking about Rob Zombie's 2 versions and we're going to be talking about the 3 David Gordon Green Halloweens. Oh no! Oh, and we're going to be talking about H2O and Resurrection. Sorry, I said original 6, but it should be original 8.
Are we doing the Halloween? We're doing Rob's too.
Yes, we're going to do the 2, but it's going to be like that whole, like we did with Friday the 13th, where it's not going to be we're going to be talking about them in like little segments, and then we're going to be ranking them.
I'm going to say those 2 for last, and then just get the Cliff Note.
I mean, I've seen them all many, many times, so I mean, I definitely want to go through the franchise again. Also, this year is the 45th anniversary of the original Halloween, so it's a big anniversary. So I figured we would do this big Halloween celebrating that movie, but also celebrating the entire franchise. And to be honest, our Friday the 13th episode was so much fun. It was like a 3-hour long episode, but it was a great time. And we got, I think, a lot more. Let's see, there's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's about the same, maybe 2 more movies than the Friday the 13th franchise. So better start watching them now, because we're going to be recording that one soon.
Got this.
We'll get it. When are we doing that again?
Well, it's going to be for Halloween. We're going to release it. We're probably going to release it on Halloween. I got plans, but we got a couple months. We'll talk off screen and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, because we've watched a good percentage of them.
Yeah. I'm
not going back and watching fucking other ones. I've seen them. We talked about that shit.
Dan, did you read the comment? I said, Fiore said he grew up with Power Rangers. No regrets here.
Oh, no. There's nothing wrong with Power Rangers. I did too.
Who are you? Where do you come from? I don't know. I question that every day.
I grew up watching Power Rangers. I was 93, so I would have been 7 years old when the original Power Ranger series aired, and I was in it. I was like balls deep until they got. And once the original Power Rangers ended, is probably when I stopped. When they started, like the first 3 seasons, and they went to. Was it Space after that? I think was the first series.
I dropped off.
I can't remember.
I
was. Most girls were the Pink Ranger when they were little. I was the Yellow Ranger.
That's
just
sexist.
saying.
That was a guy, by the way.
I don't care. I was the Yellow Ranger.
Anyway, just
her character outside.
Oh yeah, Trini is good. I like Trini. I always remember the turtle with the big stoplight on its back, and it hit her, and she couldn't stop. She kept having to run the whole episode. Yeah, I remember that one.
Because I hated pink growing up. Because I was a tomboy, I hated pink.
You already said talk about the history of the development of Godzilla 98. So we usually do. I usually do include some behind the scenes stuff with the movies that we cover. I think we're gonna kind of cut down on certain things just because we have had some pretty long episodes, and as much as I want to put more out there, it's also just a pain in the ass to constantly edit 2.5 hour episodes. Because we do, we go into side tangents during the episode when we're talking through the plot. That adds time, and I'm not going to just say, listen, when we get to the Conjuring episode, me and Angela, we go at it. But, we love each other. We have a good time. We're just poking at each other. So don't ever, people who listen to that episode in a couple weeks be like, oh no, there's some tension over at Dissect That Film.
Yep, it's fixing the shit can, dude.
But it's more just the pain inside like as the timer.
Brother and sister.
Yeah, it's more like the pain of inside as I look at the timer on OBS, and it's like 2 hours and 25 minutes. I'm like, oh,
just tell me to shut up.
Anyway,
yeah, no, that's what he does. He's like,
we try.
Anyway,
like, moving along.
I can't help it.
And she's
I am like the least talkative person of this group. But you get some alcohol in me, and I will not stop. And I'm sorry. I try.
She's like, I've got the spotlight. It's my fucking turn.
No, we enjoy, talking. We've enjoyed having our side tangents and stuff like that. It's a good time. Dustin was on the show, and he had a good time. So that's all that matters. As long as our guests come on and they have a good time, listen, our episodes might be a little long, and all I can say to you is if you don't want to listen to a 2.5 hour episode, just watch it in segments. Just watch like half of it or listen to half of it and then come back later on.
It's Dustin's fault.
yeah, I do usually include certain facts that I look up about movies. But I usually try to, if it's a movie that we're covering that also a podcast that is more into doing the history of movies, I try to recommend people to those shows, because those are the shows I want people to listen to, those other podcasts, and that's where you're going to learn those type of facts. I just spit some random things I read, and then we talk about the plot, and then certain things kind of get sprinkled in. But like, for instance, you're talking about the history of Godzilla 98 and the development. The wonderful podcast called Verbal Diorama, which is a show I listen to weekly, hosted by M. She's great. We're trying to get her on the show at some point to talk about The Mummy. It's her favorite movie, and I've been saving it for her for a while. But go check out her podcast. She literally just dropped an episode on Godzilla 98 like 2-3 weeks ago. It might be longer than that. She also dropped an episode. She did back-to-back. She did 98 Godzilla, and then she did an episode on Shin Godzilla. Mm-hmm. So, also, she has an amazing show where she talked about the history of so many movies. I think I literally just listened to the episode. My memory is terrible, but her show is great, and you should go check that out if you want to know the very intricate details of the history of a movie. But yeah, like I said, we are going to be talking about Godzilla 98, and I'm going to be nerding out because I love that movie, even though a lot of people don't, especially hardcore Godzilla fans. So
look at me.
Your group. I'm
not saying you, Dan. I know that you like that.
Oh, I heard all about it. I was there. Community. I was there.
I was there too.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Well, I'm gonna go to shirt ordered. I have to have one too. I would feel inadequate.
Let's get on that.
Yeah, we are ordering one tonight. ASAP.
So yeah, it's we also kind of plan things kind of on the cuff there. We don't have months and months planned out like a lot of other shows are like, I got it planned up until the end of the year, and I'm like, we barely have the next 2 weeks planned. Literally, the episode we're recording this weekend, I told Dan and Angela about last week when we were recording.
Yeah.
So that's sometimes how it works. As things pop into my brain, I'm like, you know what? We're going to cover this movie. And then I let them know.
Sounds good to me. Keeps us on our toes.
Yeah. And the fact is we do a weekly show, and there's a lot of stuff going on in our lives where I can't sit down and do extensive research on a movie. And that's just not really what our show's about. We are dissecting the film, but in a different way than what I think people expect, which may be another turnoff of our show. It's like people expect us to be very intricate and detailed when it comes to certain things. And it's like, no, we just talk about the plot and we joke around. We talk. We go on side tangents that have nothing to do with the movie. It's a great time.
You're welcome.
They link up to something we say about the movie, and then it just goes off the rails.
Yep.
Yeah. You just hit the ball and it goes where it wants to.
So the fun thing is we're creeping towards 20,000 downloads on the show. We're creeping. We're about 2,500 away from that milestone. Like I said, July was kind of a rough month for downloads. We're hoping August picks back up, and hopefully I'm hoping by like the end of September we'll hit that mark. And it'll be great. You know, it's definitely not something that I'm like constantly like worried about, because like if people, it is what it is, and we enjoy doing the show, so we're gonna keep going, even if things start to, slope down for a little bit. Just the name of the game. We've definitely been blessed with how well the show has done over this past year. We already broke last year's download. What we got for downloads in 2022, we've already passed that number, so that's kind of that's a positive, and hopefully we can just keep on going. And this is something I'm going to say every month for our wrap up. As much as it's like, who cares about the numbers? You got to care a little bit. It's one of those things where you have to kind of figure out like, what can we do maybe different? I don't want to. There's no way I'm going to go in and be like, I got to change this completely. It's more of just like, we don't plan on covering movies because of things going on in the world or things are related to something that's happening. It's kind of just We just are like, we're covering this. We're covering this. The reason we're covering the Conjuring movies, because Dustin from Flicks and Friends picked those movies. The reason we're covering League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, because I just randomly popped in my head. And I was like, oh shit, that came out 20 years ago. Sounds like a good movie. It's definitely a movie that people talk about being bad, and I need to rewatch it and see if that's true. And then afterwards, we smoke some.
I'll let you have all that. Man.
You can have that.
Yeah,
it's not legal here, so.
I just don't. I'm no interest in partaking.
There's none of that here.
Well, we don't do prepared either. I've literally just done my best man speech for Colin's wedding. It's in 12 hours. Oh my god. Yep.
Talking about
that's funny. That's funny.
Procrastinating homework in high school. That's me.
Listen, my brother was my best man, and he was 17 at the time.
Nice.
So yeah, it was a 17-year-old speech at my wedding, so it was pretty funny. Yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. We are, we shared with you what we got coming up. We greatly appreciate everybody who listens to the show consistently, even if you don't listen to all the episodes, but you listen to certain episodes because those are movies that you're interested in. Yeah, we appreciate everybody who supports the show, even if you don't listen to the show, but you share our posts on Twitter on X. Stupid. It's Twitter. It's Twitter, guys.
It's still Twitter.
It's still Twitter.
For anyone who shares our posts on Twitter, on Instagram, on Threads, whoever watches our videos on TikTok that I post once in a while, we appreciate all the support. The biggest thing, though, that I really want to ask all of you, anybody in the chat, and then tell your friends, that's the biggest thing. Like, if you enjoy our show and you know someone who may be interested in what we do, please share our show with them, because we love to meet new people and have new listeners. And the biggest thing is, though, if you listen to us, like wherever you listen to us podcast-wise, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, any of those podcast services, or if you just watch us strictly here on YouTube, please, like if you watch us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. For one, you're going to get notified whenever we drop an episode, and it builds us up, and so we can hit that 500 subscribers, so we can someday get monetized, which I don't think will happen. But hey, it's a goal. If you listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, there's a rating system. It's all free. You don't have to pay for it. Rate us 5 stars or rate us whatever you think we deserve, because the more ratings we get on those apps, the more our show gets recommended to other people, and hopefully more people will come in and listen to the show. So please, if you haven't rated us on your podcast app and you can, please do it. We appreciate you and all the support, and make sure you tell anyone you know that may listen to our show and hasn't done it yet. Say, hey, do that. Help them out. All right. We greatly appreciate it. It's just the small things. And if you want to, of course, if you want to financially support us, which is not it's not recommended. You don't have to do it, but it's there if you want it. And we have some fun perks and extra content for anyone who joins us over at patreon.com/dissectthatfilm, where we have 2 tiers. For a single $1, you can get our episodes up to a week early. And I actually have some stickers that I just got made that'll be coming to me, and I'll be sending them out to our patrons. So waiting on those. And we have a $5 tier, which is you get, of course, the episodes early, and you get access to our 2 Patreon exclusive shows. And you're probably asking, why do you do Patreon exclusive shows? Because I feel if you're spending, $5 to me sounds like a lot of money. So I want to make sure for those patrons, they are getting more than just free episodes or early episodes. So we have our Monster Zone show, which we're going to be doing twice a month, and we have our Tubi show, which will be once a month. So
you gotta make it worthwhile.
Yeah. So for $5, you get early episodes, and you get 3 exclusive episodes, which I feel is I feel is worth the money.
Yeah.
It's not, like I said, it's not recommended, but it's there, and all that fun, anything that goes into our Patreon goes right back into our show, for new equipment, for just paying for the programs we use to run the show, stuff like that. So we greatly appreciate you. And like I said, our core show will never be behind a paywall. The core podcast and any of the other shows that we have done over the last 2.5 years now, like if we, when we go back to doing fresh cuts, which we're going to, they're just not going to be as many. And of course, Slice of TV is not going away. It's just I kind of wanted to take a step back from that. Those shows will still be free as well. So our core shows that have been around for the entirety of our existence, they're always going to be free. But if you join the Patreon at $5, you are going to get those exclusive shows, just because we feel it. We want to make it worth it for you. Hey, keep up the awesome work. All right.
Yes.
Make sure to go follow Seismic Cinema, and good luck on your best man speech. And tell Colin congratulations on getting married, because that's awesome.
Yes.
Not to worry, guys. Just keep doing you. Dissect That Film isn't dead just yet.
No.
It isn't
We're still
dead
beating that horse
just yet. Yeah, but that's about it for me. But we do have one more thing we got to do before we leave for the night, and that is spin the wheel of monster movies. So Angela, share your screen so I can pop that baby up. Wait. Oh, that's not right. Wait a second. Wait. Oh, there it is. All right, there we go, people. Wait. Let me make sure. Okay.
Accidentally clicked.
I had to turn on your volume real quick.
Oh, it's okay.
Now our next two spins will not be kaiju films, even though somebody just asked about it. It's gonna be fucking funny, dude.
All right, everybody. So we got to spin the wheel 2 times because we cover 2 movies a month. So these will be the 2 films that we'll be covering in August. We're going to be trying to release them, one kind of towards the beginning of the month. Well, it's all based on when we record the episode, which may be next week. So, all right. When you guys are ready, let's spin the wheel for the first time.
Yes.
3.
It's gonna be
2.
Attack of the Giant Leeches. For the first one.
Dan's calling it.
I say Matango. It's the same one.
It's the same one we spent last time, but it's a fucking good one.
That's hilarious. Varan. Okay, I got to write this down because I will completely forget.
Varan the Unbelievable.
All right, let me get in my notes real quick here before you spin again, because I have a list.
Yeah, I have to write it down.
Of the movies that we've covered.
I got some interesting trivia about this one.
Varan the Unbelievable. Okay.
I met the man.
Let's for anyone who is interested, let's look. I want to look it up real quick. I want to see where it's at.
That's a great question.
I had to spell out Unbelievable.
So Varan the Unbelievable is from 1962, and it is currently on Freevee. So if you want to watch this movie, it's on Freevee, or you can rent it for 99 cents on Amazon Prime Video.
The version we'll be watching. Okay, it's just we got to make some context here. I don't know what version is on streaming. The version we'll be watching is Daikaiju Varan or Baran, because Japan's V and B is the same thing, just like their R and L. That was released in 1958. It was, but yeah, that's the version we'll be watching.
So it's version. Oh, how am I going to watch that one? That one doesn't say it's on anything.
So I don't know what version if you watch it on Freevee, I don't know which one you'll be seeing.
So that one, the one on Freevee is called Varan the Unbelievable.
Yes.
And it's from 1962, and it's an hour and 10 minutes.
Yes, and now I don't know which one it is, because it's only been sold in the States as Varan the Unbelievable. The original English cut of this movie has not been released in God knows how long. The DVDs that came out in like the 2000s, which I think are on what's on most streaming services, is the Japanese version of the movie.
Okay, so is the one on Freevee, like, are we going to be watching 2 completely different movies?
It's the same movie, it's just Americanized.
So the one I'm going to be watching is the Americanized one?
In theory.
Why is it 17 minutes shorter?
Editing.
Okay, well, I'm watching Varan the Unbelievable from 1962, So we're going to be going into this kind of with two different perspectives. And Dan, of course, Dan and Angela host the show, so they're going to have all the fun info about these movies. And I'm just the guy who's going to read off the cast and stuff like that.
A lot of Americanized Japanese movies, I've learned, they cut out sensitive topics.
Yeah, okay.
So if it's too much blood, if it's too much controversial, they'll take it out.
If it's too anti-American.
If it's too anti-American, yes, they will take it out. Like I've watched some of the stuff that he has, and he'll say, well, I don't remember seeing this as a kid. But then we'll watch it again, whether it be on like the Godzilla channel on is it on Tubi?
Pluto TV.
Pluto. He's like, yeah, they cut that out. They cut this out.
So just compared this way, the original Gojira from 1954 and Godzilla King of the Monsters from 1956. Both fun movies, but they have a little bit different tones because of how they're edited.
Watch the 54 one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Okay. So we got our first pick for the month. This will be the first, since it is the first one that was picked, that'll be the one that'll be covered earlier in the month. So let's spin it again for our second film of August.
Oh, let's go.
You get a kaiju movie after all, so people can't complain.
All right, here we go. We are getting
Black Scorpion.
It's a good one.
Black Scorpion.
This is Ray Harryhausen.
Yeah.
Did the effects on this one.
Let's look this one up real quick.
So it's gonna have some good effects.
I know a little bit about this movie that Parker's not gonna like, but I'm not telling him.
What is this? 1957?
57, 58, something like that. Yeah.
This one is also on Freevee, but it's on Tubi as well. So that's the one I'm going to recommend because Tubi is the best.
Tubi.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. We love Tubi.
So it's on Freevee, it's on Pluto TV, but Tubi, if Tubi is one of the options, that is where I'm going to be watching it. So,
we should be sponsored by
Tubi.
We
should get sponsored by Tubi.
Yes.
Listen, if Brad is not sponsored by Tubi and he has a show called Tubi Tuesdays and has been doing it for a while, then we got a bit to work on. So yeah, there is our Monster Zone Patreon exclusive episodes for the month of August. We're going to be talking about Varen the Unbelievable, which is currently available on Freevee if you want to watch that version of the movie, which is what I'm going to be watching. And then towards the end of the month, we're going to be talking about Black Scorpion, which is currently on Tubi.
Yes.
So there we go.
I got the Blu-ray of that, I'm pretty sure.
All right, so you can. I don't know how to get rid of your screen here, unless you get rid of.
Oh, yeah, where she's gonna kill it. Oh.
Blue. Oh.
All right, well, that is gonna be it for this month's live show. Like I said, it's just us shooting the shit, talking a bit about the fun stuff that we've done over the last month. We're going to be back at the end of August to do it all again, to pick out our 2 Monster Zone episodes. This month be the month we actually cover the Tubi movie that we were planning on covering like 2 months ago? Maybe.
Probably not.
We'll see. It was fun.
Something else.
We had to cover a shark movie for Shark Week.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I really wish they had like some sort of wheel, like a pre-made wheel for Tubi movies, and we just spun it and just covered whatever it landed on.
That could be good and bad.
Yeah,
That'd be fun. That'd be fun.
Be crazy. But
I can make a Tubi wheel.
It'd take a while.
That's gonna be a lot. There's a lot of movies on Tubi. I think it has the largest library. So
we just watched Ticks.
Yeah, I saw that.
There's a lot of scuttling in that movie. Tons of scuttling.
I'm like, why are they flying?
They're scuttling. It's fucking wonderful.
No, they're flying through the air.
And Clint Howard's in it.
Oh, man. All right, everybody. Well, that is going to be it for our live show this month. Thank you so much for all the support that you give us. We have a lot of fun stuff in store for you guys, so make sure you are sharing the show wherever you can. Make sure you're rating and reviewing us. And if you watch us on YouTube, make sure you like this live stream. Make sure you share the live stream. I forgot to release the audio version of last month's live stream. I'm going to get the audio version of this live stream out to you guys as soon as I can. So just hold tight and I'll get it out to you. But thank you, everybody. And thank you to everybody who hung out with us in chat. Fiore, Seismic Cinema, Yanni, Christopher Yanni. We had Gerald from 2Ps. I don't want to miss anybody, so I'm scrolling up here. We had Wyatt from Cinema Trip Reviews here. We had Ty, the Blockbuster guy. And Brian Sanchez. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you all. And until next time, I am Brett Parker. That is Dan and Angela of DNA Gaming. We are Dissect That Film, and that has been the Dissect That Film live stream, baby, for July 2023. We'll see y'all again next time. Bye-bye.